today I'm going to show you how I draw faces. So first I get a reference. I usually use unsplash.com. This is the one that I'm using today. Now first I'm going to block out the shape of the head and the hair just to kind of help me get everything situated. And then I'll go in and add in the basic shapes for all the facial features, as well as blocking out some of the main shadows that I think are the most important. This just gives me kind of like an outline so that I have something to work with when I shade. Now I'll go in with my first layer of shading. This is kind of where I'll block out where all the shadows and highlights are. Nothing is really too detailed just yet, no textures or anything. I'm just kind of adding in basic values and trying to figure out how the drawing is supposed to look in the end. Once I have an idea of how everything's gonna look, I go back in with my pencil and really sculpt out all the facial features. This is when I'll kind of go in with a shorter pencil lead and add sharp details, or I'll use a longer pencil lead to darken the shadows and make them richer. And that's pretty much it, guys. Hope this helped. Bye.
Nothing better than the pretty big forehead, bitch. Listen close, I got...
No worries, I'm here to end all the bullshit. Look at this. On a typical pretty face, the eyes are gonna be halfway down. You got all this forehead space and you got the entire face squished down here, and somehow it balances out. Now, y'all be making fun of big foreheads, yeah? Girls be getting reductions looking like this. You can make fun of her all you want, but you know that she looks like a Disney princess, right? And for anybody that ever bullied anybody about their forehead size, I bet you got a caveman forehead, and that is far more. You want to be an artist, but you don't even know where to start from. Let me show you. First things first, if I draw some random lines, can you replicate these? Most artists approach this by visually measuring everything out. So for example, I have the line split into 3 sections and the other line is crossing at the first dot. So now that we know that this line is completely vertical, we can just easily place this one in. And we're going to have it be parallel. So we make sure that it's the same angle. Remember math class, this angle is the same as this one. So we end up with the exact same image. Another small concept that you need to understand is shapes. A lot of artists use geometry when they're drawing. So for example, you can easily see that we got a pentagon in here. By using these shapes, I can easily replicate what I'm doing. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit off, but it comes with practice. But you get the general idea. So now I'm going to show you how I use the concepts that we just learned and apply them to my drawing. I'm just going to fill in my biggest shapes. So instead of worrying about whatever the hell this shape is, we're going to worry about the space that we got right here. So we got just about that much of the canvas empty. We're going to use negative space to fill in the shapes. Now that we have like the general shape, we're just going to follow the same rules but on the inside. Start to see some more shapes. So for example, you can see how his entire face is literally a square. So you can fit that in right there. Oh no, I don't know where to put the nose. Let me use the concept. Look at that. Look at that. Straight to the corner. Look at that. Follows the line. Now we're just going to replicate everything exactly as we see it. Remember how I said to use shapes? Yeah, this is a great example of where I would need to use some shapes. Right here. Here's the nose. For the eyes, I love to create the entire shape of the shadow. So this is what I see. And we can kind of maybe turn this into that kind of shape. So now within those shapes, we're going to create more shapes, okay? Okay, so at one point you're going to get tired of doing shapes and you're going to have a big mess. So you're going to want to erase and we're going to start rendering everything now. Rendering is the exact same concept except we're following the actual lines and we're going to try to replicate those onto the image. And your first couple times are not going to be perfect, so it's going to take a lot of practice, but it is a really great method to use. You do have the option to keep breaking it down into shapes if that's what makes you comfortable, but I like to freehand everything after a certain point. And when it comes to rendering, I like to include very important elements. So for example, this beard, certain curves in it are just extremely interesting, and I want to include those into my artwork. So I'm literally just gonna add it. I don't know how else to explain it. And eventually you're gonna end up with a photo. Woo, look at this. So if you like this video, please like and follow, and then I'm going to be posting more.
How to draw a female profile. First, look in the mirror and realize you're not a female. Now draw a circle. Draw a smaller circle. A line, another line. Draw a line and draw a circle. Triangle. This is a little different than the guy. Zoom in. I'll draw a circle. Draw a curve from way up here to here. Use this as a reference point. Draw a curve, draw a curve, draw a curve, draw a curve, draw a line, and curve it. Draw half a circle right here at that line, and draw a line here to here, and draw a line here to here. Draw a curved line right here. Draw a line for the lid. Draw a line down and draw a line upwards. Draw a check mark. Draw a line. Draw a line. Draw a line. Curve it off a circle. Now trace it. Draw a heart shape if you want to have lipstick and a dot. And finally erase the back and draw whatever hair you want, and you can put it in a bun.
There are about 1,000,001 facial proportions tutorials out there on the internet. I've been thinking that for this tutorial, instead of taking you through the anatomy of a skull, since that is something you can easily find on the internet, and we did it in the past 2 tutorials, I talked about skull anatomy. This tutorial of the 3/4 view, I'm just going to bring you along on the journey as I draw through a 3/4 view portrait, and then we convert it into male, female, and androgynous. We are still going to be talking a little bit about proportions and anatomy and stuff, but I think what will be most helpful will be to see my regular process and explain what's kind of intuitively happening and going through my head as I draw. I have a, kind of a fluid process, because for me, the drawing process...
If you're used to drawing lighter skin, I'd say that there's like almost no difference, and let me show you why. So I know I could have chosen a darker girl, but for this example, I just wanted to show you guys how their skin tones are pretty much the exact same. Listen, I know this ain't what actual people look like, but I drew these for my head, so we're just gonna go ahead. So typically when drawing light skin, I start with a base shadow about yay dark. We blend with a cotton ball. As you can see, I've created a mid-tone for a lighter skin complexion. Now for dark skin, I would just go darker, obviously. And you're left with a darker base than the original to work off of. You're gonna shade it exactly how you would shade light skin. It's pretty much the same concept. I've erased about the same amount, I've added the same amount of shadow, and you can see how the background just pretty much allows it to fit to its complexion. I don't know. Literally, all I'm trying to say is that it's pretty much the same, it's just ever...
This is how I use these lines to find correct proportions. Using a ruler or pencil, I see what features line up with each other. On this reference, the inner eye lines up with the edge of the nose, and the iris lines up to the edge of the mouth. The process is the same with angled references. Here, the neck lines up with just inside the nostril. Sometimes a feature doesn't line up with anything, so I judge the distance from another feature. Here, I'm judging the gap between the eye and the edge of the nose.